Okay, good morning, everyone. I am Eleazar Santos Tejada. Today is October the 10th, 2019. I am recording from Melgar, Tolima, Colombia. This is our fourth encounter with this group of students from Intermediate English 1. Okay, I want to greet now Pedro Alonso Alajon Quintero. Good morning, Pedro.
Good morning, teacher.
How are you today, brother?
I'm good, teacher. What about you?
Yeah, I'm really fine. Thank you very much for asking. Okay. Uh, are you there, Karine? Good morning.
Good morning.
Okay, good morning in Colombia, but good evening in China. Okay, welcome to our fourth encounter. How are you today?
Um, okay, sick but okay.
Oh my goodness. All right, thank you. Try to get better. Who else is online? Are you there, Berta? Laura, are you there?
Hello, hello,
Hello,
hello.
Laura. Yes, I can hear you. How are you today?
I'm fine, thank you. It's
Oh,
also
yeah,
still sick.
yes, I know. Even in Colombia, we have a lot of people sick. Okay, even in
Oh,
China. Sorry, I yeah, I have about 4 people sick in my encounter. So don't worry about it. But we try to speak today. Today is uh, another way for you and me to practice a little bit English. So be relaxed and be ready to speak. Okay, on the last class we talked a little bit about internet, good things, bad things, and the different aspects involved with that huge topic. Today the idea is to talk about some situations where the educational context or the educational environment like that is present. Okay, why? Because as teacher or future teachers, you will face those kind of situations. So this encounter is focused on knowing a little bit your opinions or experiences about those topics. Okay, so feel free to speak, feel free to give me your opinions. Again, I'm not coming here to criticize you, just speak, be relaxed and speak. Okay, so today we will talk about a lot about schools and situations at schools. Okay. uh, all right. This as an introduction. Okay, we know that schools are wonderful places, especially for children to grow in the personal and as well cognitive or professional way, depending on the age of the students. But as people, as members of one society, we have some kind of issues that we need to handle with those, as teacher or future teachers. First thing, when I say different issues, what is an issue? What do you know that word when I say issues, Pedro?
Issues?
Yes, issues.
Uh,
So different issues uh, present at school, things like that.
issues is like things, situations. I don't know.
Can be, yes, more or less. Okay, Laura, what do you think? What is an issue? Laura,
yes, teacher.
what is an issue? When I say issue, what's that?
I don't understand, teacher.
No? Okay,
No.
don't worry. Karine, what is an issue? Do you have any kind of issues in your life?
Yes.
I suppose
Sometimes
everyone, yes, everyone has.
issue is una complicación.
Correctly. Yes, it's kind of problem, okay? It's kind of bad situation. An issue is kind of a trouble, things like that. Okay, that's an issue. In general context, okay, in general context, maybe you say, oh my god, I got an issue with the electricity bill. I was wrong, maybe they charge you more money than the usual. Okay, I got an issue with my water bill. Maybe you have any problem in the bill, the money you have to pay. So those kind of problem, we usually say issues. Okay, issues. Today, the issues or the different problematic contexts are related to the school. Berta, are you online? Do you hear me?
Yes, teacher, good morning.
Okay,
Good morning, everyone.
Thank you, Berta. How are you today, Berta?
I'm okay, teacher. Thank you. And you?
All right. Yeah, fine. Thank you. Thank you for asking. Welcome to the encounter. All right, let's start. One aspect that is critical, important at schools is the discipline of the students, children in general, okay? For you as teachers or future teachers, how do you keep the discipline? How do you keep the order in your classrooms, okay? In your classroom. Pedro, give me your opinion about that.
How I can keep the discipline, teacher? Is
Yes,
the question?
yes.
I don't know because I don't start with my teacher life, but I think that I can keep the discipline with the appropriation of the topics. Um, I don't know if the teacher have to be um, I don't know. It's difficult to me to talk about this topic because I never um, have the teacher experience.
Okay.
So I don't know how can I keep the discipline.
But what do you think? How can be if you were a teacher or if you were in charge of a group of students?
Mm, no, teacher, I don't know. I don't know what can I talk about this.
All right, don't worry. Think a little bit. Maybe later you have any idea. Okay. Laura, what do you think? How do you keep discipline in classrooms? Order, not strictly discipline, but order.
Yes, teacher. Hello?
Yes. How can you keep the order or the discipline in classrooms?
I think so. I think so. What? I know, teacher.
Try. Don't worry. Try.
Uh, the students speak much.
Uh-huh. Only that way?
No, no more.
Okay. Karine, what do you think? How can you keep order or discipline in your classrooms?
Well, first of all, I leave them to trust me. I show them to be like, because I'm a kindergarten teacher, so
Uh-huh.
but I'm very disciplined. My class, if they don't behave good, I will be very angry. So I teach them some rules. I teach. I looks very happy, but I'm very angry at the same time. So be careful.
Oh,
So I teach them rules. Uh, from the beginning, I teach them rule. I introduce myself, and I teach them how to behave in my class. So if they don't behave in my class, I will, like they're babies, so I just tell them I don't love you anymore. I don't want to play with you. So for them, no, please love me. So this is like kind of like mm, one of my rules. If they don't sit nicely, so my rules like sit well, raise your hands if you want to talk. If I ask you to stand up, just stand up. If I, what I'm asking you to do, you need to do. So don't be crazy, because my classes actually are to be happy. I told them there is two different things about happy and crazy. So when I'm playing games, be happy. Don't be crazy, because if you are crazy, then you will be get my class in bad behave. So I don't like that. So they understand, and then like in the beginning, just step by step, but then after a couple of days or a couple of weeks, and day by day they just follow me, and then my class is well. So I teach them for let my kids to respect me. So I teach them first rules. I show them I can be their friends, but also I'm strict to them. So when it's class, it's class. When it's play, it's play. So I teach them rules so they know me. So all the kindergarten know me. Everyone know for like if I'm good, if they're good, I'm good. If they're bad, I'm bad. So how you want I be? So that's how I teach them.
Yeah, that's really good. Okay, that is a typical situation at every single classroom, I think, around the world. Thank you, Karine. Berta, what do you think?
Okay, teacher. Mm, Teacher, I think that to maintain discipline in a classroom is that from the beginning it is clear what the rules, um, punishment, and benefits are. I think it will not be like a punishment, but a win for bad parties. Things clear from the beginning. In most cases, it works. That is.
All right, thank you, Berta. That's great. Okay, so this is the reality. Okay, because maybe as Karin says, when it's time for studying, it's time for studying. When it's time for playing, it's time for playing. But all in based in rules, clear rules from the very beginning. Okay, from the very beginning, the classrooms. Okay, we talk about behaviors. Okay, I just type it on the screen. Behaviors is the way how people act, it's the way how people look and how they interact one to each other. Time ago, people punish children, you know. I don't know if you remember, maybe from your parents or from other older or experienced teachers, if you had or maybe you had in your memory some ways how people punish you, punish, okay? So there were kind of punishment even now, but all time ago, the punishment were really, I don't know, hard, okay? Do you understand that, Pedro, when we talk about the time ago people punish or maybe teacher punish students?
Yes, teacher. Do you want to we talk about that punish in the
Yes,
past?
yes, maybe you listen about that from your parents, grandparents, other experienced
Uh,
teachers. If they do that,
I have my own experience, my own bad experience with that punish from my teacher.
yes,
Yes,
how was
teacher.
how was that?
I remember that my teacher used physical violence.
Mm-hmm.
Um, psychological violence. It was tough because I remember that when my classmates start to have a bad behavior. The teacher, I remember that she hit us with a board eraser, and
Yes.
it was the punish for us. And
Yeah.
I think that it was a really bad experience for for us because we were so little kids.
Yeah. All right. Thank you, Pedro. That's good. Okay. That happens. That really happens. Laura, do you have any experience about that? What do you know? What have you heard about that?
Uh, um, Personally, consider that physical punishment is not good. In the contrary, it's very bad. It's better to talk.
Okay. Yes, that's true. That's true, Laura. Maybe you remember any negative experience when a teacher used maybe physical or psychological punishments with you?
No, never, never. My teacher are very good.
Okay, thank you. Yes, all of you are new generations. Okay, that's the okay. Hold on, Karine, hold on. Okay, Karine, what's your experience? Maybe in punishment.
I'm not old, but actually,
I know.
it's because when I was when I was a kid, I lived in. I'm from Corazzi Cesar. It's a small town. It's like a village, very small town. And when I lived there, like it's not like city education. Towns
Mhm.
and city are different. Village and it's like I don't know how to call that, but my town is very small. So I remember when I was like first grade, like when I get to first grade and second grade, I was very good I'm very good at math. I don't like to study, but I'm very good. If I do it, I very so. When we were learning the how to do that, how to call, I forgot. Ay, se me olvidó la palabra. Las tablas de multiplicar. I
Okay,
forgot.
multiplication table.
Okay, that thing.
Uh-huh.
When we were learning that, I was very good at it. So my teacher, my math teacher, always he has a big stick, like big stick, like
Mhm.
long,
Mhm.
and like this, like very thick. So every time if you don't do your homework, they just give me your hand and
Oh,
here
yeah.
you are. Congratulations. And then one time he just okay. So I want everybody to learn the multiplication table. So tomorrow I'm gonna ask. So he always like called 5 kids at the time. So he say like seven, seven, blah blah blah. So the one who answer
Mhm.
can hit the other two.
Oh,
So everyone was like, oh, I need to learn. I need to learn. So they really push us to learn because if you know, they're gonna hit us. If the teacher can hit you and the student. So I really learned all of them like very hard just for don't let because I cry for everything. So just for don't let they hit me. So but every time I hit them. So
wow.
that's they I very some very but actually when I I was 10 years old, I moved to the city because my mom moved there. So I moved to live with my mom. I was living with my dad. So I moved with my mom. So in the city, you just can see the difference, you know. So there it was like more old school, and in the city, like was like, okay, no punishment. Yeah, they punish you like, you cannot go to um, your rest time. You can just stay there. You can just do some note, or they just do that, but not like there, like really hit, you know. I always have this in my mind, you know, like it was a very long stick, and like this thick it was. But about punishment, I don't remember, is Laura who said like she's not agree to with the punishment. I think so rude punishment are very bad, like hit the kids like that. But actually there are some kids that they really behave, you know. I'm a teacher and I'm teaching kids already for 9 years, teaching kids in China. You know how difficult it is to teach Chinese kids that the parents give everything to them, because all my students are like rich something, so the parents, they give everything to them. So you know how they behave, they're really bad behave. They all sometimes they just want to hit you. So how you cannot punish them? The talk in this case, conversation is out of like, no way. So you really need to put them a punishment and need to be strict to them. If you don't do that, you will you will lose your respect, that they respect you. Because I'm not agree like the punishment like the all time, like me, like. And also, you know, when you do something like they put me the books in here, so I need to stand there 1 hour. In that was in my town, you know, like stand there like this, and we were like, oh my god. But in that kind of punishment, I'm not agree. But actually, if some kids they really behave bad, and I was, you know, I was a kid, and I was kind of naughty girl. So of course I deserve a punishment because I didn't listen sometimes to the teacher. So I'm not agree to hit those kind of punishment, but I really agree like the kids need some punishment to teach them how to behave, how to respect people. Because if you don't teach them how to behave, they're gonna really uh, they're gonna grow up some like no good person, you know.
Yes. Wow, that's great. Thank you, Karine. Very good. Okay, that's a reality that maybe all of us have to face or will have to face as teacher or future teachers. Believe me, you will remember Karine's words. Okay, and Berta, what about you?
Okay, teacher. In my elementary time, they did it as why the rule. My mom, for example, was made to work on corn. I think it was terrible. Today, that does not exist. Thank God.
Okay.
No more teacher.
Okay, thank you. Yes, okay. Maybe you say you as a teacher, so the profession of being a teacher means that you are really devoted, you know, that you really like to teach. But even liking you a lot, the fact of teaching, you have to keep in mind that those situations are going to happen, okay, are coming one day or another, okay. Discipline is needed in classroom. Punishment is an all way to correct, you know, people, especially physical or maybe psychological punishment should be left in the back, okay, be left in the back. But of course you need to adopt measures how to keep discipline and how to keep the order and how to make them respect you and understand that they are in the school and they need to follow some rules or things like that or behave in a good way because they are interacting with other people, things like that. Okay, anything else? Want to say something about that? Okay, no. All right, I'm gonna move next kind of situation. In the educational environment, throughout the history and the develop of the history of the education, have been ways to evaluate, have been ways to evaluate and assess the performance of the students, okay, to know how they are doing at classes when they are attending a class or a course or things like that. Do you consider that the quizzes, the tests, the evaluations are really needed? Do they help really for having a good education? I want to know your opinion, okay? Pedro, what do you think about that? Do you think assessing and evaluation at schools is really good for the education?
Okay, sorry. Yes, teacher, I think it's important because we have to keep the control of the knowledge of the students, and I think that the evaluation is a tool for the discipline too.
All right. Yes. Okay. Thank you. Thank you. Laura, what do you think about that? Laura, are you there?
Yes, you can hear me?
Yes, I can hear you again. Okay. Laura, what do you think about that evaluating, assessing students?
I think that the subject of evaluation in school is good, but there is a lot.
Okay. Do you consider that this helps in the educational process? Do you think that it is really needed, is necessary to make evaluation tests and quizzes, things like that?
Yes, yes, Tish. Yes.
Why?
Um, mm,
Ah,
in the way of uh, in the way of the capacitación, ¿cómo es?
yeah, learning process.
Sí, in the teacher, o sea, que los profesores se preparen como más.
Yeah, say that in English. Don't worry. It's okay. Okay, teacher, you need to learn maybe more. Okay, thanks. You have more information at the end. You can intervene again. Okay. Karine, what do you think about assessing in education? Is it needed?
Um, well, actually, the signification, like the answer for evaluation is to know what you had learned. So I think it's important to have some tests to know if what you learned or what you didn't, what you need to improve, or what you already like done. But in the test, you can know if you need to learn more or you just or you already got it. So I think it's important to have some tests, but it depends of the people. It depends, like in my case, on kids, because some kids are really afraid to test. So I really want that people, like teachers, find a way to understand everyone's, like, not everyone have the same like confidential to answer some tests. Some people really afraid, excuse, but they're really afraid on some tests. So like I'm talking about my kid, my old son, my older one, he's really afraid, like when people start to make some question to him, like he is really afraid, so he starts to sweaty, and then he just all like forgot, and his mind will be all like borrowed, and he know, like he knew all the answer. In that moment he would just forgot. So I like, for example, I always see always evaluate my kids, and I also do personal tutoring, and not everyone have the same confidence to respond a test. So as a teacher, I suggest that everyone see your students and see when, how, like, if, like, for example, if one kid always is very bad result, you can just don't, oh, I'm gonna talk to your parents, oh, you're gonna, just repeat this course or something like that. I suggest that they investigate, what's going on. Maybe if he's really lazy, or it's really like he has something problems, because sometimes the people just, they're really afraid of this kind of test. So I really like my job right now when I do the test is to see if someone have a bad results, to see what happened. You really know, like, talk to, like, one by one, and like friendly, are you okay? Why you didn't know? Or if I found out that he was just because lazy, that he didn't want to learn, so that was very bad. But if like I found out like it was because he really knew, and he's a very good student, but I don't know what happened. So it's just give it a chance, just don't, okay, 0 0 0, and don't even have the opportunity today to spread themselves for say like why they didn't have good points or something like that.
Right. Thank you, Karine. Thank you. And you, Berta, what's your opinion about that?
Okay, teacher. It is because it is the way in which the student can be followed up as to his progress in learning. I consider my that is.
All right. Thank you. Yes. There are some controversial opinions about that topic. Maybe I don't know, sure, if at any country students don't present test, maybe students don't present a final quiz, I don't know. And the grades of the scores are based on how they perform during the classes, during all the stages in the education. Because maybe it can happen not only for children, but as well for students. Maybe you know a lot, maybe you study a lot, and maybe you understand all what your teacher is teaching you, okay? Or what your teaching is going to assess you. But when the quiz comes, when it's the moment to present the test, maybe you are blocked, maybe you are completely blocked, and maybe but at the end your scores can be bad, that can happen. Some people can have cognitive or emotional problems, as Karine says, just looking at the paper, at the quiz, they are terrified, they are blocked, and they forget all what they have learned or all what they have studied before. Okay, that's what I mean when I ask you, hey, do you consider that a test is really helpful for the education? Again, doesn't matter your answer, just to think about a little bit that. Okay, uh, have you heard something about like that, Pedro, when maybe people get ready, study a lot for the quiz, but when the quiz comes, they are blocked. Do you know any case like that, Pedro?
Sorry, teacher. My internet is broke, and I can't hear you well.
Okay. All right.
Can you
The question,
repeat the question,
yeah,
please?
yeah, sure. So the question is, maybe you know any case where people study a lot and prepare and get ready for the quiz, but when the time of presenting the quiz, the person can be blocked and forget all what he or she has
Um,
studied.
yes, yes, teacher. And in my personal case, my girlfriend lived the same situation before the presentation of quiz, because I help her to study, but when we think that she have all knowledge, and maybe she's ready for the test or for the quiz, when she's in the university, she's blocked because she has fear, or she's feeling worried for the grade, or for the result of the quiz, teacher. And maybe she is feeling frustrated when she is writing in the test.
Mhm. All right, very good example. Thank you, Pedro. Anyone else? Any case? Do you know? No? Okay. Yes. Again, the idea is for you to be prepared to face those realities that maybe are going to happen or have happened before, because you will be teachers, or are or will be teachers. And you need to be sometimes in the foot of the students. Maybe you need to go and not only rate, score a test, but you need to go and check, hey, what's going on when people get bad grades, bad score, bad performance. So it's kind of be fair, okay? Be fair with students, because anyone has different skills and as well different difficulties at moment of learning. Okay, let's move on to another question. Do you think that school should be only one gender? So it was a situation that was present in education years ago. So only in the schools were at those cases, at those times, only for men, only for women, only boys, or only girls, no mixed people. What do you consider about that? Do you think it's better having schools only boys, only girls, no mixed? Karine, what do you think about that?
Um, I don't know. Actually, I'm all my life. I've been in like I study like mixed, but I'm not agree with just um, female and just female school and just male schools. I'm not agree with that because I hear that there's so many controversy in their sex things. If you are in the or so many like so many problems in that kind of school. It's more sex problems in those school that like the mixed school, like what I have here, you know. It's not like, but I hear like female school. There so many cases, you know, about weird stuff that I didn't hear in the mixed school. I also in the boys' school the same. So I'm not agree with. I'm think I'm agree with mix. I'm not agree with just separate. No, I don't like that.
All right. Thank you. Thank you. Laura, what do you think?
I think the school must be for everyone. Gender don't matter because that way we learn to live in the midst of difference.
Okay, that's good. Thank you. Berta, what about you?
Yes, teacher. I think it should not be of single gender. Students should interact with both boys and girls, but have different thoughts. What the educational um, how do you say establecimiento?
Yeah, institutions.
The institution, okay, should look for the most is for the two genders to share. I think, teacher.
All right. Thank you. And you, Pedro, what do you think?
I think that mixed college is good because boys have to be able to interact with girls, and it's important to have the good behavior environment. But if you think in our different point of view, the only boys college is so disciplined institution like military school.
Uh-huh.
As you know, teacher, I don't know if I'm wrong or I'm right,
Yeah.
but I think that the only boys school is very disciplined school, and the the girls school is it's good, but I prefer the mixed school for the interaction and the learning for teachers and the students.
All right. Thank you, Pedro. Thank you for your answers. Okay. Another question. What should be done to those students who are found cheating in quizzes or in tests? You know the word cheat? I expect you know them. What I mean in here is when they are acting like dishonestly, you know, making tricky things like that. Okay, what do you think, Karine, when students are cheating in quizzes or in tests or even at homework? What should be done?
No comment. No comment.
I don't know. Why not? uh,
I don't know. I haven't had that. I haven't like lived that experience.
uh-huh.
And when I was young, you know, I did it few times, but not so much, but few
Yeah.
times. It's very bad. Don't do that, guys. You know, don't do it.
Oh my god. The con-
But actually, I did it, and then I feel bad, and I told my teacher if I can repeat the test. So he said, okay. He just laughed.
uh-huh.
But I think is sometimes you just do because you're just desperate to don't lose the grade. You know, it's just that, but it's not good actually. But I haven't because actually I just teach kids, so kids don't do that. So
Mhm.
I don't know how to respond if I teach in a class and some like older kids and they do that. I don't know how to respond. I don't know. Actually, no comment. No comment.
Okay, don't worry, don't worry. Don't take it personal, okay? All right, don't take it personal. It'll be fine. Okay, Laura, what do you think about that?
Yeah.
Laura, what do you think? Students
Um,
teaching in class. Okay, in test or in homework.
Teach the student that is something dissonance.
Mm-hmm. So, what should be done?
What?
What should be done to those students? What can we do with that person in that case?
Um, um, se dice quitar,
Say again?
quitar, pues se dice quitar, quitar.
Uh-huh.
How
That's
say
it.
quitar? So how say quitar? Así, quitar.
Maybe just take it away. Take it away.
Eso, exacto. Yeah. Take it away.
Okay, and punish. No, don't worry. Just kidding. Okay, no punish. Berta, what do you think? What should be done to those students cheating in quizzes?
Teacher and honest.
Yeah,
Being honest, I did at school.
I know.
Yes, I think at the beginning, and accompany probably to the student to determine which are learning weakness. But afterwards, to be repeated, a sanction must be generated. I consider.
Okay. Okay. Thank you. And you, Pedro, what do you think? Pedro, are you there? Okay, Pedro Alonso, I don't know where he is now. All right. Yes, maybe any one of us did it, you know, maybe at any moment, you know, I don't know, maybe as a teenagers, as a younger boys or girls, but maybe that could happen to us, you know. And again, the controversial topic, okay, what should be done, okay? Do the students need to repeat the test, the quiz, do extra homework, and provide them any kind of punishment? What can be done, you know? What should be done, okay? It's for you. You need to analyze and as well be ready to face those contexts, those situations as teacher or future teachers, okay? Okay, try to act fair, you know, fair. But remember, maybe you did it time ago. Maybe you did it for any reason. Maybe they will do it again for the same reasons as you did time ago. So just to think and reflect about that. Okay. Another question: when students uh, are learning especially cultural aspects, should those students go to those places that maybe can provide them better understanding, clear examples, clear realities of what they are learning, especially history, culture? So sometimes academic institutions send people to those places, to the museums, to the thematic parks, to libraries, things like that, because they want to reinforce, or they want students to grab better the knowledge, or have a better understanding of what they are learning at school. Do you consider that, is it a good thing to do that, Karine?
Um, I think yes. I think it's better to learn for what you're living, or for um, or for you experience. I don't. You can learn more, you can enjoy more, and because sometimes the books, when you I don't like to read, but it's because I have a problem, like not problem, just an issue. Just like, for example, when I read, every time when I read, I have migraine. So every time I went to a doctor, and nobody had, even in China, everywhere, nobody fixed me that. So there is a big problem for me every time when I read. I wear glasses, it doesn't help. So every time I just read like 20 minutes, and then had migraine. So for me, it's very hard to make some homework, like a book or read. So like to go and live the experience and to do some investigation, like in person, and to go to museums, or go to, okay, we are learning about some trees, go to a park and discover what trees can you see, or something like that. I think it's better to let them, to the students, to live, like and touch what they're learning was that, or something like that. I do this for my kids because they're babies, so I always teach them to don't just showing pictures to them. I also teach them to know what's there, not just teaching a fruit. So let's go to see a fruit. Let's eat fruit. What is a fruit? And so if when the teachers put like go to the museum to learn more about what we're learning, I think is better because and for example, I for young people is right now young people is very difficult to attract in the education. Like you need to catch their attention. So like trips, they like that. Like you can find a way to like catch their attention. So I think trips, like live what they are learning in the real life, I think is a very good way to um, to get the student get more knowledge or something.
Okay, thank you so much. Yeah. Okay, thank you so much. Pedro, what do you think? Are you there?
Pedro.
Pedro. Come on, Pedro, don't go out. All right, Berta, what do you think?
Okay, teacher. Espérame. Of course, it is about student acquiring knowledge as they receive information. They acquire culture and education. These are things that help the student think about interesting thing, teacher.
Okay, thank you. Yes, it is. Okay.
Teacher,
Thank you. Hey, what's
teacher,
up?
can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Sorry, I don't know what happened with my microphone, but
Yeah.
I want to talk, but you can't hear me. So sorry, teacher.
Yes, all
I
right.
want to answer the question.
Okay. Please go ahead.
Sorry. I think that when we go to other places, we learned much better about the culture of another country, of another topic that you want to learn or to know. I think that practice is better than theory.
Mhm.
Um, I think that we learn more with a minute of practice and with I don't know 10 hours of theory. Um, when we go to other places, we learn from culture, as you told us, in the museums, or I don't know, um, because in that places we have to speak and we have to visit different places and we can learn many things about that culture and that society.
Mhm. All right. Thank you, Pedro. That's a good answer. Okay. Laura, what do you think about that?
I think so. Where there are people and culture, you always learn a lot.
All right. Thank you. Yes, those trips, you know, educational trips, like children or like students in general, not only children, but everyone, they like to go out from the school. They like to go out and see what teachers talk to them in class is real or was real, depending what they are studying or learning. So those trips are really good for students, and they really like. Okay, okay. Let's move on to another aspect. For different reasons, I don't know, in other countries, especially in Europe or in the US, I don't know, and even in China, I don't know, people want to stop classes for any reason. In Latin America, that is a critical thing that happens all the time because the rules, the regulations for educating children are so flexible. Okay, and if they want to stop classes, don't continue classes, they just stop. So there is a situation that we face in Colombia, with, I don't know, increasing the number of students that leave the school. Okay? How can you, as a teacher, a future teacher, how can you motivate those students who don't want to continue studying? How can you motivate those students that want to leave the school for any reason? Karine, what do you think?
What do I think about tell kids to give them some motivations? I think that first you need to talk to them to see what's going on, to try to understand them what they are losing their motivation, and to try to find a way to let them motivate, like how they can, like maybe some kids lost their motivation because they don't get the point or they don't understand what the teacher is teaching.
Mhm.
So maybe find a way how he can uh, get the motivation again. Like for example, if he don't want to learn, is because um, he don't understand. So find a way to he can understand. Or maybe it's a family problem, like no, I don't want to learn, I don't want to study, I lost the motivation because I have so many family travels or so many problems in my home. So try to help him to fix those issues. Just try to like be more understanding to him and uh try to like give him again this motivation to let him know a reason why he should study and why he should continue learning and why should he should continue studying the school, not just okay, I give up. Not just give up, just try to give them like a chance to and understand why is it important to study. I think it's if someone lost the motivation, it's very hard to continue study, but if someone show him a hand to help him, you know, I think people can get the motivation back.
All right, thank you. Laura, what do you think about that? How can you motivate those students?
The first thing is to talk with the student, making a reflection on the consequence of leaving the school. Also, I know a very close case that I leave school and very one talking to him. He not pay attention. He leave school.
Thank you, great. Okay, Berta, you, how can you motivate those kind of students?
Yes, teacher. First of all, I must review the case of the student and validate what are the reasons why he wants to leave the school. Second, and according to his specific situation, I look for with audiovisual aids where I show him other case that made this type of decision. For example, no more teacher.
All right, thank you, great, okay, great. And Pedro, what do you think? How can you motivate those people? Pedro, hello. Pedro, are you there? All right. Yes, as I told you before, it's a problem, especially in the countryside of Colombia. We see that reality, but nowadays in the cities as well, and this is increasing. The problem is increasing day after day. Okay, another question. There are some topics that maybe are really appropriate to talk with the students in class, you know. What topics do you consider that maybe are not appropriate for students, for students to talk in class?
Teacher, hello, teacher, sorry.
Yeah, I know what's going on with your communication, but try to fix it, please. Okay.
Yes, teacher. So, may I answer the last question about the motivation of for students?
Yes, sure, please.
Sorry. I think it's important that students understand the importance of education in their social inclusion. We as teacher must show them how they can use the knowledge for their benefit, for their personal interest and personal realization. For example, when I was a child, I was motivated to learn English because I always wanted to have a band that sang in English, and I success that. It is my hobby. Actually, currently it is my hobby. Now I understand the importance of the knowledge, and especially in English, for my personal and professional life. And I think that students should know that education is the tool that can transform their lives and the society.
All right, great answer. Thank you, Pedro. That's really good. Yes, okay, that's the way. That's the way. Motivation should exist. Show the future. The education is the only tool they can grab to success in their life. Thank you.
Yes.
All right, let's move on to the next. As I mentioned a few seconds ago, there are some topics that maybe you consider that are not good to talk with students in class. What topics do you consider that maybe are not appropriate for students to discuss, to talk in class? Pedro, let's start with you.
I think that the inappropriate topics is talk about violence or racism. I think that it's important to talk about these topics, but it's controversial topics, and we have to consider that the students are young people, and we have to be I don't know um, appropriate to age of the student. Um, but in the other hand, we have the sexual education, and I think that it's important, but some educational institutions consider that this topic isn't important, and I think that is important. So I think that the topics is it's I don't know how you can say relativo,
Yeah, yeah, it's
uh,
relative. Mhm.
relative for the institutions and the objectives that you have of your want to teach to the students. It every time depends of your objectives as a teacher or as educational institution.
Yes, it's totally true. Thank you, Pedro. Yes. Berta, what do you think?
Teacher, I consider that any topic is appropriate. Students should know things that are taught. They are how do you say prohibido?
Yeah,
Prohibited?
maybe prohibited or banned. Mhm.
Ban, okay. Or very strong. They needed to know to prevent different situation, teacher.
Mhm.
Okay,
Oh,
they
yeah, thank you.
need.
That's okay. Mhm. Okay. What about you, Laura?
Teacher,
Yes, tell me.
repeat me the question, please.
Okay, what topics maybe are not appropriate to talk, to share with the students in class? What do you consider about that? Do you have any maybe special topic that you say, no, 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 I don't talk to this or to this or to that with my students?
And I don't know, teacher.
Uh, do you
No,
do
I
you
don't know.
do you consider that you can talk about anything with your students? There is no problem talking about any topic with the students in class?
The student speak more, much.
Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
Mm, no, es que no, don't understand.
No. Okay. And Karine, what do you think about that? Do you have any topic that maybe is not appropriate to talk with your students?
I'm agree with Berta. I think the kids can learn any topic, a little bit of any topic that they wish. But there is one thing. They can learn any topic, but it's the way how you teach them. It's the way how you going to they get this information, because sometimes people give too much information, or teachers give too much information. Or just it's good that the students know about all the topics, because if in case there's something happen to them about this topic, they know what to do. So that is a good point. But the thing is the way how the teacher introduce this topic to them, the way how they develop this situation to them. Like for example, a war. Uh, like here, they many years ago there were a war. Japan versus like China. The Japan, when
Yeah,
Japan came to China.
yeah.
So in the school they teach them like Japan people are bad, because this war they did so many bad things to us. So but biting to Chinese people. So the kids start to grow up with these things. Japanese people are bad, but actually no, all Japanese people are bad. Just in that time, the military people did many bad things to Chinese people, but it's not like everyone is bad. Mm, so is the like I say, is the way how you teach them, how you develop the topic to they then understand this. And another thing is when you talk about disaster, like we were talking last time, I forgot the word, like weather disaster or something, like typhoon,
Okay. Natural
like
disasters.
yes, those kind of stuff. My kids are terrifying because of their teacher. The teacher put him, my older son, put them to see a video of how people um, suffered in those disasters, how they
Oh,
can show this to them. And he just every time, because in the city I'm living, there is in summer a lot of typhoon, but a lot. So the trees just fall down. So every time when it's here is a little of rain, they're so afraid. So my older son came home and he just talked about this. So he make this like he is scared also the small one. So right every time when it's a little rain or something, they're just, hey, let's go home, let's go home. It's raining, let's go home. Why? Because it's raining. So but why? So then after I asked them what happened, what's going on, and they tell me like the teacher tell them about typhoons, about that. But this is not the way. I mean, they show them a real thing and very bad, so they were like terrifying, like they are like so scared. So that's the thing. Kids and also about war. That's not the way. The kid is good and the students is good. They learn about all the topic, but the teacher need to know a right way to how to let them to develop this knowledge. It's not because many kids are sensitive. Not all the kids can accept it. Oh yes, yeah, I know, yeah. But some kids are sensitive, so not all the kids are like that. So teacher need to find a way how to teach this topic to the students.
okay. Thank you, Liliana. Good. Yes, the education has evolved, and nowadays children are exposed more directly to the different contexts in the normal life. Okay, that's true. There are sensitive topics. For example, as Karin says, if you are talking about hurricane, natural disaster can terrify kids as well. When you talk about religion, when you talk about politics, when you talk about sexual education, when you talk about terrorism, those kind of things should be taught in a really good and educational way in order to be neutral in the positions, you know, be neutral and don't scare people and don't influence their behavior from one side to the other side, just to be neutral and they can make their own decisions later. That's the point in this question. Okay, another. Children as well are exposed to different friends, different people at schools, and people with different personalities and point of view about their life, different behaviors. Okay, do you consider that friends really have a big influence in the way how the other students can behave, in the way how they act? Do you think that the friends can be good or bad in the process of making decisions for their partners? Karine, what do you think?
I'm very sorry, teacher, but I didn't get your question. It's like I don't know, my internet started. So can you repeat again, please?
Yeah, don't worry. Okay. At school, students or children are exposed to different friends, you know. Those friends have different personalities, point of view, kind of education. Do you consider that the friends influence in the way how they act later, in the way how they behave one to each other?
I think that there are so many kids that really can get bad influence. I think that it's depend of the people, you know. Some I call the everyone can decide what they want to be and who wants to follow. So there is so many kids that they're like, it's no, I don't know how to call it, but like for example, they're weak. They follow everything. They don't have like, no, I don't want to do that. I will do what I think is the right thing to do. But some kids, they're very weak. They just follow what others. If they're doing good, they do good. If they're doing bad, they do bad. But it depends of the people. It depends of the person. For example, because my friends, I'm talking about like personal examples. You know, when I was I was living in Colombia and I was in school. Most of my friends drink. I haven't had a drink. I didn't drink I just drink in China, my first beer. But in Colombia, I didn't. But all of them drink, smoke, but I didn't. And they even do it like in front to me, you know. But I didn't do what they would do because I know for me it's bad. But other friends, they just follow them, you know. So that's the thing. You can have many friends as you wish, but you just decide who you want to follow and what you want to be. I think everyone can decide this, but some people don't have these strong things, you know. They don't have these powerful things that can say no. They just afraid that, oh, maybe if I say no, they want to be my friends or something like that. So I don't care if they want to be my friends. I just want to do what I want or what I like. But some people really care about what the other people thinks. So that's the thing. That's a very hard question to answer.
All right. Thank you, Liliana. Okay, Laura, what's your opinion about that? The influence of your friends, of the friends. No, Laura, no there. Berta, you, what do you think about the influence of the friends at school?
Of course, teacher. Some forwards and other. Everything depends on with whom they want to be if they look for friends to help them if they have difficulties, or those who example take them to school disorder. It depends. Is my opinion, teacher.
Thank you. And you, Pedro, what's your opinion about that?
This question take me back, take me to the past, and I remember that I had a friend who just wanted to draw in class, um, and I acquired that habit and stopped studying. Yes,
Yeah.
but I managed to graduate, but he didn't. Yes,
Yeah.
for because he was every time drawing, and I consider that friends, um, they are a great influence for us.
Yes.
And well, when children are young, they always tend to do the same thing, the same things, and as friends, and acquire the habits of their friends or the people they admire. Um, I think that parents educate us in different ways, but we develop the personality of ourselves.
Yeah.
For example, my brothers and I have different personalities. Um, in the schools, if a student is a bad student, maybe can't motivate others to follow that behavior. So, in conclusion, I think that the friends is can be influence the other students and the classmates.
Oh, okay. Thank you. That's true, huh? But again, the decision is on your hands.
Yes,
You
sure.
are the person who decides who wants to follow. You need to grow in your personality to make your own decisions, good decisions. Because all the time students are exposed to good and bad behaviors, good and bad advices, things like that. So that's the idea, to talk with students. You can have many friends, but you need to decide what kind of friends do you have. You need to look for good friends. Good friends. Okay. Okay. Last question. Again, a situation that can be not normal, but happens from time to time when students are growing up a little bit. They develop some kind of relationships, affectional or emotional relationships, and even depending on their ages, sometimes they consider they are really in love one to each other, maybe to one of the partners at school. Do you have any kind of situations, and or do you listen about kind of situation? And if affirmative case, hey, what do you say? What to do? How to act in that moment, Pedro?
So sorry, teacher. Can you repeat me the question, please?
Okay, when you have maybe two friends that are in love, maybe because they have started a close uh, relationship, affectual, emotional. What do you say to them? How can you act when you face that kind of situations?
That situation is for the school or
Yeah, the school, special ed school, because they can affect the performance, no?
uh, so I don't know. I think that you have to take in mind that you go to school only for study, yes, but if you are in love with your classmate, or I don't know, it's a situation that you can control. So I think that it's okay while both every time are studying and have good grades. I don't know.
Okay. Yeah, okay. Thank you. Berta, what's your opinion in that point?
Yes, teacher. Mm, it of course it happen all the time. It is also something that we cannot avoid because it's a part of people emotion. What I think is that we must generate awareness um, and care in students so that things do not happen to rather. I finish, teacher.
Okay, thank you. Laura went out. Okay. Liliana, what do you think?
Mm, actually, I don't even get this question about what mean like they having a relationship, like boyfriend and girlfriend, like if two of my friends, like you mean, or just classmate?
Yeah, it's like that. Because depending on the age, you know.
Okay, if they are too young,
Hmm.
I don't know.
No
I don't know
problem.
how to respond. I don't know how to respond that because I was young one time, so I had a boyfriend. So I didn't have boyfriend. I had boyfriend until the 20s, but I had friends. So I don't know. But I didn't get in love with someone that age. You cannot get in love when if you are so young. This when we are young, we don't know what is love. So if they say they are in love, so I support them. I don't know. I what I do if they didn't disturbing me, I gonna tell them, okay, stop, come on. But if they don't want to, they just okay, too love bear, do whatever you want, but don't disturb me. Yeah, like that.
All right, thank you. Yes, there are, okay, generations have changed, you know. Maybe the old innocent girlfriend, boyfriend at school were kind of normal and no major issues about that. But yes, maybe when they are disturbing, when they say, you know, okay, I'm really in love, maybe they don't know what love is because they are too young, but they consider they are in love, you know. And sometimes they make them to or lead them to make wrong decisions because they stop classes, they stop studying. In Latin America, especially, we have a lot of cases of very young ladies impregnant, so sexual relationship with no responsibility at all, and they bring them some kind of difficulties in their life, in the education, and in general. So the idea is just to handle this topic in that way, okay? In that way. I think I'm gonna stop in here. Okay, that were the topics, questions that I wanted to discuss in this encounter with you. At the end, I want to ask you, you have any question or any suggestion for this encounter? Maybe something to clarify, Pedro?
Um, Everything is clear, teacher, and I want to know if we're going to keep practicing and studying the simple tense
Uh-huh.
topic.
Yeah.
I want to review that.
All right.
This is my
Okay.
suggestion.
Okay. Thank you. I know that there are maybe some grammatical aspects we need to work on, but according to the instructions given by my tutor as well, um, she considers that we need to take advantage of this space to increase the speaking skills as much as possible. So grammar is important, but maybe it's not enough the time to study not only the simple present, but any other grammatical aspect, you know, because it's a thing that takes time to practice, to read. And maybe at your own, you can study by yourself. And of course, you have my number, my Skype account, and you can ask me questions. And of course, I can help you to clarify or to get a better understanding of those kind of grammatical aspects, Pedro.
Okay,
Okay.
teacher. Okay, teacher. Perfect.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah. Berta, do you have any suggestion, any question about this encounter?
No, teacher. I could not tell in this moment. Um, um, maybe grammatical. Maybe.
Yeah. What do you mean, Berta? I didn't understand you. What do you mean?
What, teacher?
Yeah, I didn't understand you about grammatical. What's your suggestion? What is your question?
Grammatical, teacher.
All right. So you want?
I don't know. So.
Yeah. Okay. The grammar points, you know, grammar points. Okay. Grammar topics.
Yes.
All right. Okay. Thank you. And Karina, do you have any question, any suggestion about this encounter, the topic we discussed today?
Actually, no. I always have fun with everything.
Great.
Okay with everything. I'm okay. I'm okay. That's all.
Okay, that's the idea. Okay, I hope these encounters leave you at the end maybe any kind of reflection in the speaking skill like that. Maybe you learn expressions, maybe you learn new words of vocabulary like that. And the idea is just to speak as much as possible. So thank you for being in this encounter. Okay, I'm gonna stop in here this recording. Thank you very much for attending this encounter. And I hope you have a good weekend and see you next Tuesday, God willing. Okay? So,
Thank you.
Okay.
all right. Okay.
Bye-bye,
Bye-bye.
guys.
Okay.
Bye bye.
Bye-bye.
Good night.
Good night.